The meeting is being recorded.
The meeting is being recorded, so we are being recorded as of right now. So this is kind of cool. It's kind of neat to uh, talk to everybody and introduce ourselves. And they've seen us on. Everybody has seen us on Facebook chats and stuff, but here we are. So, uh, just welcome the opportunity to share a few things. So it's Dell and Karen.
Hi.
And anything else you want to say to the group before we'll talk about what we're going to share at this point?
I don't think so. We're just giving this a go, see what happens. So I'm
Uh,
not sure what to expect. So,
all right. So the what we will do at this point is just we've written about this periodically and why the group was started, why the type 1 diabetic for 50 year plus group was started. So it was about a year ago. It was actually not this past November, but a year ago, November
yeah,
8th was the actual
yeah.
date. We drove Karen to a diabetes education clinic, very popular one, northeast of Toronto. Some of you are familiar with it. Uh, but Karen was really excited for that meeting. She was excited to get her pump started. It was going to be the Omnipod at that point. Um, which she
Well,
jumped
that's where I was sent there by my doctor because I finally showed an interest on going on the pump because I knew they were now tubeless. Because my previous work with children didn't allow me, or I wasn't comfortable wearing a tube pump because I worked with infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and I was more afraid of losing it or disconnecting. So that although I had tried them in the past, I was not very comfortable without always having the tubes attached to me. So I had heard that the Omnipod was now tubeless. And so my doctor made the referral to the education center so that I could find out more about it.
and you were all excited about going because I remember
Yeah.
driving you up, and this was kind of an exciting time, and you were gung ho to get this thing going. So we drive her up there. She has her meeting. I guess it lasted about an hour or so. But on the way home, something had changed. Something was dramatically changed because Karen went from really pumped up to starting this new pump therapy to just down in the ditch. It just wasn't good. So tried to get the information out, and you know what it's like sometimes. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, nothing. What? No, something was up. And he had an experience that just wasn't good at a reputable diabetes center that probably didn't understand her a whole lot. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this as well. When you're have managed this for as long as you have some really good knowledge on it. And sometimes you're going to come in from a different point of view than educators today will know because they're taught out of a book. And I think that's what Karen felt. And maybe she felt that they just didn't even want to try to understand her. Is that kind of online there?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was actually during the pandemic, and I walked into the waiting room wearing a mask, and no one in the center had a mask on, which surprised me to no end. Um, and someone had walked into the waiting room, they were getting their first G6 installed. And I thought, oh boy, I've been on since the G4. So I've been the G4, G5, G6, Dexcoms. And I thought, okay, he's just getting started. And then they, pardon me, they took me into a room with 3 big tables and sat me at one big one by myself. 2 people sat across at the table across the room, and then one more at the end. And they wanted to know why I was there. And I said, well, I'd been a diabetic for, at that point, 58 years and interested in learning more about pumps. And so they were able to pull up my glucose readings from the share program for Dexcom. And they could see my control and my time in range was very good, but they had no idea that I had been diabetic for 58 years or 59 years at that point, that I was diagnosed at the age of 2.5, that I was also celiac, that I had kidney disease, all the things, some of the things that go along with living diabetes for this long. And they weren't even interested in learning anything from me. It was like they had a process, they had a procedure, and that's what they were going to follow. And I just felt like I wasn't being heard, I wasn't being listened to. And I thought, this is crazy. What am I doing here? So then she brought some of the pumps out, and they were older models. They weren't even the up to date models. And then this was in November. And she said that they don't do any pump starts in December because of Christmas and it's a busy time of year. And I thought, well, that's silly. There's a few of us that would like to get started, you know. But they were having a pump information night and it was virtual. So I asked them to put me down for that. And at that meeting, I really connected with the Omnipod rep over the other pump models. And so I contacted the rep for an Omnipod in my area, and she recommended another diabetes clinic 20 minutes from where I live, which was closer than the one I had gone to. And we went out there and had a fabulous experience. Tiffany and Amber Lee have been great. And I was able to get my pump started in, well, it was actually early January because we had to wait for ADP and that type of stuff in our province to get on board to say that I was eligible to have a pump after 58 years of diabetes.
So you did get going eventually, which was kind of cool. But that meeting from the education center, on the way home, you just weren't feeling good because there was a lack of understanding from that center. And as a spouse, we're wondering, like, what do we do? Like, how can I help? Because I can't fully understand the depth. Yes, we've been married for 32, 33 years or so. But again, I don't totally understand what happened in the beginning. I hear the stories, but there are things that I lack. So for the last 33 years, I understand a little bit. So with very limited Facebook knowledge. I mean, the only Facebook knowledge I had is I opened up a Facebook account to play an online game called June's Journey. That was it. Alaska starts on our Facebook on the June's Journey feed.
But anyway. I had no Facebook. I had tried Facebook a few years ago and was not impressed. I was getting people from high school contacting me and telling me about the price of ham on sale at certain grocery stores. I thought, yeah, I don't have the time for this. I'm working, I'm busy. Facebook wasn't for me. So not an experienced Facebooker either.
So I checked on Facebook and did a little bit of research, the research that I knew at that time. And I found one Facebook group, and you probably all know about it. It's got like 75,000 people in it. So it's a type 1 group, a lot of people in it. And I'm trying to search if there's any discussions about long term, those like you who have had it for, 50 years or more. Very, very little talk. So, okay, I learned this search function. So I searched 50 year and a name popped up who was involved with chatting a number of times. A fellow by the name of Steve, and he's, David, David. And he is in our group today. And I reached out to him. David C., you know who you are. Anyway, and I asked, do you know of any groups that are around just for 50 year plus? Because there's a whole different knowledge base here and experience and an understanding point of view that you need to talk with. There's just, it makes sense to have this group talking together. And he wasn't aware of any. And I said, well, we need to start one. And he goes, well, good luck, go for it. Okay. But that's what we did. So it was November 8th. And we kicked it off. Karen was thinking, what are you doing, Del? And I don't know. Let's see what happens. And it kicked off. There were some of those discussions. What are you doing, Del? And we kicked it off. Some members jumped on board pretty quickly. There was a niche here. There was a real niche for this group. They that have been managing for so long to be able to talk and just relate. And some of the early stories were absolutely tremendous. And just
Yeah,
they were really
absolutely.
tearjerking. And they got to me. And that's what kind of kept me going. Because again, Karen was kind of questioning, what are you doing, Dale? Who are you going to find? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's true, but I mean, in the year or so, pardon me, in the year or so since we've had the group, I have learned so much from all the others that have lived with this disease as long as I have, and even longer. And all the friends I've met and the people I've met. Um, it has just been so incredibly inspiring and influential for me. Um, I was forced into early retirement because of COVID. I was a registered early childhood educator and was working in the schools. And then the school shut down, and my doctors, because of all my illnesses or because of all my conditions, they would say, um, wouldn't let me work until I was fully vaccinated. Well, that took almost a year. So the schools were closed for a year. Then it took me another year to get vaccinated. I went back to work for about 8 or 9 months. And it was horrible trying to work with young children with a mask over your face and a mask and a facial shield. And it's just, I thought, this is no way to work with children. And I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't the way I remembered working with children. And so I decided to stop working from a job I loved. But I've settled quite nicely into retirement, I must say, for someone who was continually busy day in and day out, and up and down and on the floor and singing songs and that type of thing, to someone who finds more time sitting now than she ever did, but still walks on the treadmill at least 45 minutes a day and that type of thing, and deals with all things diabetic. It's a nice change of pace for me, I have to say, and it allows me the time to go out and meet people for coffees and stuff like that, which I've really, really enjoyed.
so we did go, we went from a group that's, basically had Karen and I, and that was it. And then some people came on board quickly. One of the first was, around the first was Marcy. She jumped at the opportunity and she's been a real godsend right from the get go, and has really helped with the group. So you've all met Marcy through through the Facebook group as well. We've had the opportunity now to meet her as well, myself and Larry, and it's been great. The group is now, Karen talks about a bubble, I guess, and being retired and COVID and not going out anywhere. Well, now there's almost 1,900 in the group. And everyone, each and every member of the group has been type 1 for at least 50 years. Yes, we've got some 60s, quite a few, and we've got some 70s, I'm approaching 80. And that's absolutely incredible. And again, I am absolutely honored to be able to have been able to provide a forum or a platform for all of you to get together and relate. Yes, I am the only one I get in the group that is not type 1. So I kind of look at it from a totally different point of view, but it's there for all of you to relate.
But you get a lot of it. I know you're not diabetic, but you've been with me for 35 years or more, and you've seen me at my good, my bad, my ugly, the highest, the lowest, literally, sugar wise, and all the hospitalizations and doctor's appointments and stuff in between. And you're my rock. You've always been there. You always have.
It is interesting sometimes when we go to Karen's endocrinologist, and I like her. She's kind of newer. She's new for you.
Yeah.
So she's got some experience. But I go in there kind of asking different types of questions. And I think at times she looks at me as if I'm type 1 because of the types of questions I'm asking. But no, a lot of these questions I get from you guys. You guys have been an absolute encyclopedia of knowledge. So it's been amazing. Again, it's been great to be able to provide the platform for you, but you guys have given to me as well. given to both of us. It's been, again, an absolute honor from our side to be able to put this together for you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's where the group has started. It has gone, obviously, worldwide. We're in, I guess, approaching 30 countries now. And it's neat just to share the stories, because that's what the group is based on. It's not based on all the little things, I guess, well, they're not so little, but all the things that are specific to areas, but all the things that have a real commonality between all of you. Because you all started off basically in the same era, in the dark ages, some darker than others, and you get that. But you all have an understanding, so when you talk, you get it. Versus somebody who's had it, for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, when you talk, yeah, they understand it, and, they go along with it. But when you talk and somebody is reading or listening to it, they understand you totally. And I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like been there, done that. They totally get it. It's like, I found my tribe. I found where I belong. I found I found the world I belong in, others that know what it's like to live with this and deal with the things that come to it. And yeah, 24/7, 365 days a year. It's there. And you're always thinking about it, always wondering. And I just looked at the clock now because I thought, oh, my pod's going to beep in a bit. But I thought, okay, we still have time. So there you go. Here I am doing this podcast, and I'm still thinking about, oh, my pod's going to alarm and send everybody flying. So anyway, that's just the way it is.
Well, one of the fascinating things, because again, before the group started, I think you kind of thought you were alone in this
Oh,
in this journey.
absolutely. I didn't know anybody. Growing up, I didn't know anybody. And I had a sister and two brothers, and they don't understand it. My mom did. My mom was my best friend, my guardian angel when I was growing up. And my dad had no understanding of it. I think my dad was so happy when you came into my life, and he kind of shipped me off to you and said, okay, she's your responsibility now, Del. So um, I'm done. I mean, he just he just never understood the diabetes. And he traveled a lot for his job, and it was always my mom who was there taking me to doctor's appointments. And she was busy. She had my younger brother and my older sister and brother. So, she had 4 kids under the age of 5. And and here I was, the special one at 2.5, now needing injections and stuff. So yeah.
And it's even amazing, even at this point, when I hear Sharon talking to her brothers and sisters on the phone, they don't get it. They don't have an understanding of type 1 at all. And you guys go through this as well. And maybe some of you are fortunate that you do have a sibling or two that does get it. But I think for the most cases, unless you literally live with it, day in and day out, hour in and hour out for years and years.
Which you do.
The other fascinating thing that really caught me off guard on this is, again, my exposure to type 1 has been carrot. And now with 1,900 other exposures, it is absolutely fascinating to see some of the things that our group is doing. From mountain climbers to hikers to race cars. Haven't seen anybody with ice skates on, by the way. We were just talking about it. So we haven't seen anybody with ice skates. You know what, you guys, it's the people jumping out of airplanes. It's amazing. Keep on keeping on. It really is inspiring to those in the group. But also to everybody else, because there's a lot of other groups that are keeping an eye on you, and you are all so totally inspiring to everybody. So it's really good. Yeah. So that's a little bit about us, why the group was started, how it was started. Did we ever think it would get this big? You know what? I didn't know. There was never a limit put on it. as long as we keep doing the things we're doing, I think, you know what, why not keep it growing? It's up with your group, and hopefully we can keep it going.
And if you like this, give us a thumbs up. And if you're looking at us going, oh my gosh, they need some professional help in terms of backgrounds and how to do this, please let us know. And in the future, if this is something you'd like to see more of, we welcome topics of conversation and people that would like to do this with us. So anything is, we're open to all kinds of ideas.
Thanks for letting us share, guys. And
All righty. Have a great day, everybody.
have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.